Alright, this video is going to be a little bit different than all of my others. This is a video of my project that I'm currently working on for my avionics course. I think I've talked about it in one of my other videos earlier, that I've been going to an avionics course to kind of learn what I should and shouldn't do when it comes to avionics. I was hoping to get out of the program good techniques and tips for installing avionics and how to wire properly, things like that. Unfortunately, it's not that useful of a course. I'm kind of surprised that the VA supports this course with funding and makes it eligible for VA funding. But what are you going to do? So this, what I'm working on is a mock-up of an instrument panel, and we're going to be installing some older Dynon skyview EFIS displays into this mock-up. So basically the project consists of obviously the Dynon skyview EFIS system with ADAHRs and things like that, but it's also, we had to create the, I call it the black box, basically the electronic version of all of the sensors that the Dynon would be looking at, because this is not going to be hooked up to an engine obviously, but we want to make it work so it looks like it actually does stuff instead of just being a static display. So we created I call it a black box, that is essentially a bunch of rheostats that that I've been able to wire up and make it appear through the use of a rotary switch, basically to act as a throttle, that as you increase throttle, you'll see temperatures rise, you'll see RPMs rise, you'll see most indications, albeit probably not the normal indications as far as range and things like that, but you'll see movement of some sort on the screen. So we had to create the circuit for that. We had to design everything and put that all together, and then using the Dynon installation manual for the skyview, we are also in the process of wiring all the harness together to connect it all. So as you can see here, I've got two cutouts. The cutout on the left is where the EFIS display is going to be. The cutout on the right was going to be where the EFIS display was going to be, but unfortunately I made it too big. You've got a very small room for error between the size of the hole and where how the EFIS will sit in there, and then where the holes will line up. And unfortunately, it was, we're talking less than a 1/16 of an inch, and it was just, it was about a 1/4 of an inch too wide, so I couldn't mount it correctly if I tried. So the hole with the what I'm working on here is actually 3 holes for switches, rocker switches. One is going to be the master switch. It's going to come from the power supply that we have. It's a 5-volt power supply is all we're using. But 5-volt DC power supply goes through to the black box that we made, and then from there through all the sensors that we designed back to the EFIS display, and that way it's all controlled through one master switch for the power supply. And then also I think I've got a auto leveler switch, which will do nothing more than just display the words level or something like that on the screen, but it's one of the functions that our instructor wanted us to install. And then also I think the other one might have been I don't quite recall. Anyway, but the 3 switches that we're putting in, basically on-off activation type switches. And then now I'm in the process of drilling 2 holes. One is for a dimmer, and then the other one is for, like I said earlier, is going to be a throttle. And they're both just rheostats that will act as the throttle and the dimmer switch for the panel. So the rest of this is just putting the frame together, and I decided I was going to rivet everything. I've got plenty of extra rivets for the RV14, so I stole a few and used it for this project here. Everything said and done, it's an easy project. It's just kind of time consuming. I've only got about a week and a half left in the course. I don't think that I'm going to get this done. It's just something to keep me busy until I'm finally done with the course. So here I'm starting to put everything together, putting the tray together, that piece, that flat piece there. It's gonna basically the base for the Adahars and the what is the other piece that goes there? I think it's the Adahars, and it might be a compass. And then also we'll mount our black box in on this tray also. And so it's going to be behind the panel, but you'd be able to look at it and see how everything was wired. And we're going to try to use all the wiring techniques that you're supposed to use, keeping them in bundles and tying them together properly and routing them along the frame and that kind of thing. And the extra hole that I have, I think I'm going to make a patch plate basically out of some scrap aluminum that I have, and cut out some holes for standard radios, that kind of thing. That could be, I could mount some fake radios basically, just to have it as a, more of a look of the panel would look like. But we'll see. I'm not all that ambitious. Like I said, I'm just biding the time until class is over in a couple weeks. But going through here and just countersinking all the holes that the rivet's going to sit in. Like I said, it's just something to make it look a little bit better, but something that's quick and easy. And then once I'm done with all of this, I'll most likely probably put some primer on it, and then I might even go out and buy a cheap can of spray paint and just spray paint it black or something. But like I said, it was an interesting program or an interesting project. We started out basically the scenario, I guess, is that we were delivered this Dynon package, and a customer wants it installed, and we had to make up a mock plane to install it on, which included making mock sensors. So the project grew, I think, a little bit larger than what the instructor had intended. I think his intent was for us to be completely done by the end of next week. We've been working on these since, probably May, maybe even a little bit sooner than that. The class is 4 days, it's 4 nights I should say, Monday through Thursday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at night. So I work 12-hour shift work, and I'll get off work at 4:30 after working 12 hours, go to class and get done about 9:30 and head home and repeat the whole thing the next day. So you can imagine I get a little bit tired, and so my attention span, not necessarily the greatest as we've been working on these, but we'll see what I can get done in this last week and a half. I think if the instructor had just kept to the initial idea of just making a wiring harness for this, then we would have been done by now. But he kept adding to it as we're going along, so kind of got a little bit frustrating, but yeah, so here we are. So now everything is pretty much put together. I'm in the process here of installing the side brackets, support brackets, just to hold up the front panel. It's the Dynon display. It's not heavy, but it's also not light. So the instructor wanted us to put these brackets here just to support, just to make sure. Not a bad idea. And again, it's all easy. So I'm using the Cleco clamps to hold everything in place, and then just drill with a size 40 to put in a number 3 rivet, and then just squeezing all the rivets together. And none of it's not standards that I would use for the airplane as far as the rivets. I basically found the shortest rivets that would work, that I had plenty of. So some of them, definitely not set correctly as far as having the proper shop head on the back end of it and things like that. But like I said, this is a school project, and I didn't really care that much. I just wanted it to look decent. So it came out, I think it came out okay. And like I said, I'll spray paint it, put some primer on it and put some paint on it, and then when I get to class next week, I'll do the final fitting for the EFIS display. And then once I get it all mounted, then I'll start putting all the pieces together and doing the wiring harness. And to do that, just got to measure out from where everything's mounted, the distance between each connector point, and then figure out from there and then make the wiring harness from it. So anyway, just thought I'd throw this together. It was something different, something I've been working on. Should have been working on my airplane, but decided to work on homework instead. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching this. Like I said, just something different. If you get a chance, hit that like button. If you haven't already, check out some of my other videos, and go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell for me, and you'll get notified anytime I put any of my airplane project videos out there. So anyway, we'll talk to you guys later.